To get beat in your own building, get 2 games in Denver, really changes the outlook of this series. A team that is so defensively capable that it causes Nikola Jokic to have an off game. And we don't see that quite often. But something very interesting happened before the game that caused a lot of questions to circulate around matchups, and this was Rudy Gobert missing the game because of the birth of his child. And a lot of people were like, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna guard Nikola Jokic? Well, here's what Anthony Edwards had to say about that.
But what did it take to kind of play the sort of defense that you guys were able to without your big man in the middle there?
Team defense. We had to switch the game plan up a little bit. But big shout out to Cat and Nas. They did a great job of not making us have to double tonight. I mean, they was playing straight up and they played great defense without fouling. So they definitely helped us a lot.
You heard that. Yeah, you heard that.
He talked about playing Nikola Jokic straight up, and this was because of Naz Reid. Naz Reid is very capable of stopping Nikola Jokic or slowing him down, and also Karl Anthony Towns, and he showed everyone that he is also a defensive threat. Naz Reid went out there and got you 4 blocks, while Karl Anthony Towns got you 2 blocks. And do I think I've seen a better defensive team than the Timberwolves this playoffs? Not even close. I've been watching some defensive examples and how the Timberwolves really switch on defense. And a good example comes from All Day Athletes on TikTok. Look at this play here. Karl Anthony Towns goes to hustle at the ball. He recovers. And then there's a mismatch in the paint, but he fronts him and there's a double. But look at how they rotate. They rotate and they rotate and they rotate and they fill out the gap. So this is a very switchable team. And there is one player on this Minnesota Timberwolves team, and his name is Jaden McDaniels. I've been saying it since last year. His defense is elite. And whether he doesn't get the points, he only had 5 points against the Nuggets. His impact on the defensive side is something that cannot be replaced. He had 2 steals and a block, also got you 3 assists, and he's just a glue guy that you can match on to anyone on that Nuggets roster and basically get a stop. And after the game, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, they were all talking about how the Timberwolves roster is perfectly matched up to guard people like MPJ and Nikola Jokic without having the need to double team.
The one thing that I'm surprised, not be surprised, but we were trying to figure out between Murray, Gordon, and Porter, you would feel that they would be difficult to match up against. With Jokic in the paint, creating possible double teams. That has probably been the easiest part, is them matching up with those 3 guys. And that typically has been, in their championship run last year, the deciding factor. Who's gonna guard Porter? If you don't, you put the right guy on him. Don't put the right guy, he shoots 3s and he kills you. You don't put the right guy on Gordon, he kills you on the offensive glass, he runs the lane and gets dunked. You don't put the right guy on Murray, he doesn't go 3 for 18, he goes 15 for 18. So that has probably been the most surprising thing, that they've outmatched the 3 guys that really take them over the top and be a championship team.
Kenny the Jet Smith brings up a very important point here, and this is that even if Nikola Jokic goes into the paint, penetrates, he won't get doubled, causing MPJ and Jamal Murray to still be locked up. And well, what happened last night? Michael Porter Jr. only had 9 points, Nikola Jokic had 16, and Jamal Murray had 8 points on 3 for 18 shooting. That is wild. You have pieces like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jaden McDaniels, and Anthony Edwards to put on people like Jamal Murray and MPJ so that they don't get shots. But then after this, Charles Barkley chimes in and gives his opinion. Just take a quick listen to this and I'll give you my opinion.
The main thing, they're playing the Joker one-on-one. The Nuggets don't have 2 guys who can get their own shots. That's Joker and Murray. Look at the team. Murray.
Just saying that negatively, they won a championship last year.
Yeah, because when guys with Porter doesn't get shots on his own, he gets shots off Joker's double. Same thing with Aaron Gordon. They don't get the ball and go one-on-one. They only have 2 guys who get their own shot. Maybe a little bit CP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but they're playing the Joker one-on-one. They shut down Michael Porter because he's not getting wide open shots. Same thing with Aaron Gordon, but their perimeter defense. I mean, to play those guys one-on-one is pretty impressive. The length they play with, but man, you know, we don't have them on that much. And you see, like, what are the #1 defensive team?
And you're seeing why.
They are the #1 defensive team.
They held Denver to 35% shooting in this one.
He says that the Denver Nuggets only have 2 people that can create for themselves. Well, you know, you're sort of right there, Charles Barkley, but he says that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope can create his shot better than MPJ. I'm sorry, bro. I'd rather have MPJ over Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in an isolation situation. But once again, he talks about playing Jokic one-on-one. That's been the main part of this series and the reason why the Nuggets have been struggling. They're so used to people doubling Nikola Jokic than having wide open shooters to spray it to in the corner, and in this series they don't have that whatsoever just because of Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Jaden McDaniels. Nickeil put up a crazy stat line, having 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 big blocks, while Naz Reid also went out there and guarded Nikola Jokic, getting 4 big blocks, and at this point it was just a block party. A lot of people on social media are comparing Anthony Edwards to Michael Jordan, but one thing I'll give everyone is that his mentality is the exact same. And on the defensive side, the Timberwolves did something very similar to what the Bulls did. They went out there and got payback against the Orlando Magic, and Stephen A. Smith says that he has never seen defense like this in the last 30 years. Here's what he had to say about comparing the Bulls to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Under the players, he said this is maximum security defense. That's what he called it. He said maximum security. That's what it was. I mean, they had Denver, the reigning defending NBA champions, on lock and key. Tim Legler, you said you can't recall. Let me refresh your memory. I want you to think back, Shannon. 1994-95. Michael Jordan comes out of retirement, loses to the Orlando Magic in the semifinals. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember when he got a couple of turnovers? Remember when they were big up in Nick Anderson, court like he was Rocky? Remember all of that?
Yeah.
And then in the offseason, they went and they got Rodman. They come back for the 1995-96 season. They get to the conference finals against those same Orlando Magic. 121-83 in game 1. Remember that, Legs? Yeah. Remember when we watched Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Ron Harper and these boys? The Orlando Magic could barely dribble it past half court. Chicago was on them like such piranhas. Here's about defense. They put them brothers under lock and key. That's what I saw last night.
Yes.
Denver couldn't do nothing. I ain't seen defense played like that in more than 35, in damn near 35 years.
I'm so hyped to see this series go further. Once Rudy Gobert comes back the next game, it's going to be even more crazy. You got Karl Anthony Towns dropping you 27 points, Anthony Edwards a light 27 points, and Kyle Anderson moves in slow motion, but he could still go out there and get you a near triple-double with 6 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. This team is moving in unison, and I'm loving it. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. That's been all for me. I'll catch y'all in the next one.